Today we have a very special guest, the incoming editor-in-chief of the Loyolan, Zaneta Pereira. Tell us about yourself now. Who are you? Who's Zaneta? Who's this new EIC that's coming in?
Probably the most interesting thing about me is that I'm an international student, but I was born in India and I grew up all over the world. So I spent most of my life in the Middle East in 4 different countries, and then I graduated high school from Nairobi, Kenya. So I've lived in, I guess if I count Madrid, which I do, I've lived in 8 different countries.
Wow. So what was it like growing up in the Middle East?
A lot of people have sort of a negative view of the Middle East, but I lived in Oman, Kuwait, and the UAE, and Dubai, and they've been some of the best places I've ever lived in. The people are really friendly. There's, the international community is transient. It's mostly expatriates who move on after a couple of times. So you just get this sort of melting pot of different cultures and different people. Mm-hmm. It's really cool.
Cool. Where was your favorite place to live?
It's hard. My favorite place actually probably was Kenya.
Yeah.
Not the Middle East. It's completely different from anywhere else in the world, I think. It's beautiful. The people are some of the best people. But there's this, with the beauty, there's a lot of poverty, which is difficult to live with on a daily basis. But I think it makes you reconsider how privileged you are and makes you more committed to living a life that isn't just for yourself, but it's for others.
Great. So, editor-in-chief, this is a big job. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, it's kind of overwhelming right now, but I'm really excited. I think we've just gone through hiring, so we have a really great group of people.
Do you have any special plans or goals, things you want to see happen in this next year?
Not explicitly, any big pushes, but there's a lot of things we're working towards behind the scenes in terms of the push to digital first was the first step in a 3-year plan. So this year is all about maintaining that focus on digital and sort of taking a step back and looking at where we can continue to make digital a priority and other ways and stuff like that.
Cool. Very cool. So this is hearsay, but I hear that Dr. Beauvais, who's the Senior Vice President of Student Affairs, has described this job as the hardest student job on campus. So why do you apply for this? What makes you want to do a job this big?
Well, I think partially you have to be a little bit insane to take this job on. I think Kevin O'Keefe, the outgoing editor-in-chief, would agree with that. But part of it is just working at the Loyolan has been the best job I could have ever held on campus. And I've had a variety of positions at the Loyolan. I started as an intern, I was an assistant news editor, managing editor. And logically, editor-in-chief was the next step. And I was excited to keep growing within the paper and, pushing myself, even though this is going to definitely be the biggest challenge so far.
So other than that, why do you think you're qualified for this?
I like working with people, and I like big projects and helping big things get done, sort of not from a personal standpoint, but more like overseeing a team and working with other people. So I think as editor-in-chief, that's really the biggest thing, is being able to work with people. Because at the end of the day, the news is the news, but it's the people you're working with that's going to determine what kind of paper you put out, what kind of web presence you have.
Yeah, seems like a good outlook to me. So you mentioned you're in Griffin Circle, and there's recently been a little bit of controversy over service orgs and who gets in and if they're exclusive or if they have to be exclusive. So I don't know if you can give your personal opinion since you are incoming editor-in-chief, but about the recent article that was run in the Loyolan, do you have any insight into that or any opinion about it?
Well, first of all, there's been a lot of people who've come up to me personally as a service org member who've sort of wondered why I would even allow something like that to be run. I understand why people are upset. As a service org member, there were things that were upsetting to me in that article, but at the same time, I think it was an incredibly well-written article that really made important points that everyone in the LMU community, whether you're in a service org or not, needs to take the time to consider. And I think I'm really proud that we ran it in the Loyolan, and I think that fostering this dialogue is really important right now. So on that front, I think that even though I may not agree with everything that the author of the editorial said, I completely 100% stand by our decision to publish it, and I hope that the rest of the community, especially people who feel personally attacked by it, can be understanding of the author's right to express her own opinion.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, Zaneta. It was
Okay.
great having you on the show. I'm Allison, this is Zaneta, and this is Roar 360 News.